princely, yeah, the crown goes to me. The Fresh Prince, look at how I get jazzy. First of his name, Leone will reign. I'm next up, so go ahead and crown E. Now I know that you have heard, but I'm the young David, giant killer, playing at the demons of my enemies. Caliata, Italy, think of me for centuries. They gon' sing my songs out in the streets.
What up, Pride? It's your boy Amari, back at it again with another not reaction video. This is the lyric and explained video for my debut EP, Amari Vol I, Amari. And this video is going to be long. I have a lot to say about this, especially since I know that over half of my listeners are not from countries where English is the official spoken language. And so I want to make sure that I explain things well enough that as many people as possible can understand this explained video and understand what I was going for lyrically and conceptually in this project. Also, there's like a ton of wordplay and references and things that regardless of your native language you may have missed, and so I want to dive into that here. This video is so long that I actually wrote a script. Yes, a script that I will be reading mostly in this video so I don't forget anything or, you know, mess up my words. I haven't read out loud in years, so this might be a tragic moment, but we're gonna do it. Let's try. I have it on my phone and also on my computer, so I'm gonna try to read it off my computer. So that way I'm not just like staring at my phone the whole video, but it might look weird to you guys. I won't know because I won't be able to see because I'll be looking at the script. So I'm not going to take up too much more time. It's already been a minute and 30 seconds. Let's go. This is the general info section where I'll touch on things relating to the overall project. Then I'll get into song specific things afterwards. I want to let you all know this video is going to be very long. I already said that, and I will likely have to break it into two parts. Didn't say that, but hopefully you enjoy it and come away with a new perspective on this project. Let's start with the cover art. I don't know how much editing I will actually do on this video. I might just put the whole thing out there because, like, if you're willing to watch however long this video is going to be, video of me explaining my music, then you're invested enough to see all of my weird things that I normally edit out in my YouTube videos. But let's continue. Let's start with the cover art. As you've probably noticed, all of the covers are connected thematically and pull from the same color palette. They're each meant to be striking, yet still give a regal vibe, and I really hope you like them because I liked them so much, I turned them into merch, which is not out yet. It was supposed to come out today. There was some business complications that prevented that, but it will be out soon, and I will announce when it comes out, guys. Don't worry. I'm especially proud of the cover art as I had to learn new Photoshop techniques to bring these to fruition in the way that I had them in mind. So hopefully you like them. The track list of this project is actually a poem, something I reference in Red Moon, and when added with the bonus track, which is meant to act as a signed by, you get I Love Red Moon Prince Forever, signed Eternally Lovely. That's you. It's meant to basically be me communicating that I hope this EP is the start of what will be a lifelong musical journey for us. This is going fantastic. Because the concept of this EP was about the different meanings of my name, I wanted each song on the project to have its own unique vibe. With that said, I was highly aware of the fact that these songs would be together on a project. I consider myself an album artist, not a singles artist. So all of my music is made from the perspective of the project it is on. It's not just a bunch of random songs thrown together and called an album so you can buy it. I don't know how many people are going to buy it, but that's not the point. The point is I create with the overall theme in mind, not just like, oh, let me go in the studio, make what I feel that day, and then put a bunch of them together and, oh, that's my album. So, for example, I like that with how dark Red Moon is, you immediately get that bright motivational vibe right after with Prince, where Prince acts as the dawn after Red Moon's metaphorical night. When streaming the standard version of the project, which is the version that most of you will have heard, it's the version with 4 songs on it, on loop, you'll notice that the 4th and 1st song are quite similar thematically and vocally. There's a lot of singing, albeit not sonically, and the 2nd and 3rd songs are both really rap heavy. That was all intentional, as I wanted the project to be something that can be infinitely loopable and was cohesive while still allowing each song to be distinct, like the meanings. I am naturally a wax poetic kind of speaker, so I wanted to make sure this project was jam-packed with different rhyming techniques, beginning rhymes, which are words at the start of a line that rhyme with other words at the start of another line, internal rhymes, which are words that rhyme with another word within the same line, as well as traditional in rhymes, which is what people think of when they think of poetry and music, which are words at the end of lines that rhyme with words at the end of other lines. So the point there is essentially all of these different types of rhyming techniques I have all over the place in the album. If you look at the lyrics of songs, especially the songs that are really rap heavy, you'll see them everywhere. I also tried to use a diverse set of rhyme patterns, so not just A, B, A, B, which is where the first and third lines rhyme and the second and fourth lines rhyme, or A, A, B, B, which is where the first two lines rhyme and the second two lines rhyme. But rhyme patterns like A, 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 B, B, A, A, B, B, A, X, A, X, A, X, A, B, X, A, B, A, B, A, B, X, A, B, etc. If you don't know what these mean, you can look up poem rhyming patterns, but basically the point is I tried to have my lines rhyme in a multitude of different ways. One example of this is verse 2 of Red Moon, which is also the shortest in that particular song, that has a rhyme scheme of A, X, B, B, C, C, D, 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 D. On a similar but very different note, about halfway through this project, I realized that I had subconsciously leaned towards deploying different aspects of my voice and different deliveries in the songs because I knew that a lot of my initial listeners are primarily fans of groups, which obviously causes their songs to sound vocally diverse because there's more than one person on the song. And I wanted to tap into that a bit, but in my own way. There's also popular rappers like Drake and Kendrick Lamar who use a lot of different vocal styles in their music, which makes their music more diverse and fit a lot of different styles. So overall, I ended up doing a lot of different things vocally this project. Hopefully you enjoyed some of them. Hopefully you enjoyed all of them, but hopefully you really liked some of them. I will probably continue to do that because I did find it more interesting and it really fit the theme as far as like the different meanings. So we'll see. Okay, now on to the songs. I will read the general background info that I had for them in the descriptions of their videos, like the visualizers, first for those who didn't see that, and then I'll dive into some more background stuff and lyric explanations for those of you who are on a computer or have access to two devices. I'd advise that you open a second tab with my genius.com page open on it. That's in the link down below. And if you're on Patreon, because I'm gonna release this on Patreon first and then I'll release it on YouTube later. If you're on Patreon and you're watching this on Patreon, click the actual video. It will take you to YouTube and then the link will be there. That way you can follow along by actually looking at the lyrics and the visuals that I'm explaining as I'm explaining them to you. If you can't do that, that's okay too. I'll try my best to say the line that I'm explaining before I tell you what it means. But if you're actually looking at the lyrics themselves or looking at the album art as I'm explaining it, it just makes more sense because you can see what it is that I'm saying. Also, depending on how lazy I get when it's time to edit this, I may edit in, at the very least, the visuals of what I'm talking about, if not like the actual, like, hey, here's a picture of the line I'm discussing. Okay, I might not do that. There's a lot of lines, especially in Red Moon. I'm not gonna do that. Open a different tab. Okay, let's go. Let's start with I Love, because that's literally the first song on the project, although it's not the first song that I released. Background info, this was in the video description. This is the visualizer, Amari Vol I, Amari, which consists of 4 tracks, 5 tracks for the expanded version of Patreon and Bandcamp. This project is a concept album with each song based on a different meaning of my name, Amari. In this case, the meaning comes from Spanish, sorry. No accents, that's gonna just confuse people more. Okay, given the origins of the song meaning being Spanish, I wanted to pull on my childhood in Arizona and California to make a song with some Latin sounding influence to it. I made 9. I made 9 different I Love songs, each with their own Latin influenced compositions, including a Cuban sounding piano beat that I originally made as a project in college 8 years ago. But this version of I Love is obviously the one that ended up winning out overall, because that's the one that ended up making it on the EP. Just for the record, the Cuban sounding piano one, my mom really likes that beat, so I may end up using that at some point later, but I don't know. I didn't like it as much as this one, so we'll see. The bass line in this song is a combo of 2 upright basses, which is like the stringed bass instrument, not like, oh, it's over there. Not the electric bass, but like the actual, orchestral bass on the intro and bridge, and then an upright bass and an 808 bass, so they're paired together on the main body of the song, so verses, chorus, that kind of stuff. This vibe just paired so well together with the overall Latin vibe of the song, as upright bass is used in many kinds of Latin music, and I just really love it. So there's that. I really enjoyed making this song, as I'm a big fan of Latin music. So I will definitely be making more Latin inspired stuff in the future, which is either good news or bad news depending on how you felt about the song. But as I've shown you in the 5 songs that I've released so far, I'm not going to make the same song 500 times in a row. I'm not that kind of artist, so buckle up, because they're all going to be different. Let's talk about the strings. So the strings in this particular production, the intro and bridge have staccato, which are like the string stabs. Again, if you've heard the song, even if you don't know what staccato is, just listen to the string section of the intro and bridge. That's staccato. And then the chorus and verses have legato, which is like the long sustained notes. I originally had tremolo, which is the back and forth intensity on the chorus, because I wanted to have all of the, I wanted to collect them all like Pokemon, all the different string types, or I guess note types, but it was too much. on the chorus, the tremolo, it was too much. Just take my word for it. So I ended up going with 2 of the 3. It is what it is. Can't win them all. Cover art. The cover art is a negative image of a rose laid on a bunch of book pages, which I thought was symbolic. Hey, you editing. I'm talking to myself in the future, whatever. Put the cover art here so people can see what you're actually talking about. Cover art, negative image of a rose laid on a bunch of book pages, which I thought was symbolic of love helping you through all of these different situations. That sentence doesn't make sense. Book pages, which I thought was symbolic of love helping you through all of these different situations that make up the pages of the story of life. Okay, I guess hopefully that makes sense to you. It makes sense to my brain, but I don't know if that sentence is like a good sentence. Whatever. It can also be interpreted as pages of poetry, which is often used to express one's feelings, in this case, romantically. I made it a negative image simply because I'm edgy. No, simply because I thought it looked cool. That's literally what I said. Simply because I thought it looked cooler, because the contrast and the subversion of expectations. I made it sound cooler. I made it black because I'm edgy and I thought it looked cool. Teaser and visualizer. Both of these feature rose petals raining from the sky, because roses often symbolize love, and when I think of Spanish romance, I think of a dude with a rose in his mouth. That's so funny I wrote that, because that's actually true. So, duh, you wrote it. So I felt like it fit here. In the visualizer itself, there's also a red moon acting as foreshadowing for the next single and song on the project. I thought that was really cool. The red moon in the corner is in the shape of a heart. Oh, I actually wrote that. But it's in the shape of a heart, meaning that the moonlight that illuminates these dark nights here is not ambition, like in Red Moon, but love. The nighttime is often associated with romance as well, since many dates and other romantic things happen at night, so it all ties together. I will come back to the symbolic nature of this song representing nighttime, just like Red Moon. We'll touch on that more later, but that's intentional. The first 2 songs are symbolic of the nighttime, and the second 2 songs are symbolic of daytime. Again, more on that later. Concept. Okay, now we're getting into the stuff you actually came here for. The general theme of the lyrics. Okay, this is gonna get weird, so buckle up. The general theme of the lyrics is the concept that loving something enough can give you strength or motivate you to keep pushing forward through dark times. The inspiration for this is twofold. 1, there is a quote by ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu that goes, "Being deeply loved by someone gives you strength, while loving someone deeply gives you courage." I thought this was really deep. Lol, deep. And so I wanted to make a love song about this concept. 2, John Wick dog scene. I told you, it's about to get weird. That's like the ancient Chinese philosopher thing wasn't weird. Okay, for those who haven't seen the action movie John Wick, I'm about to slightly spoil the beginning of the first movie, albeit the movie is 9 years old at this point, but regardless, skip ahead some if you don't want to be spoiled. You don't really have to do that because I remember what I wrote here. I don't really spoil that much. It's like the first 5 minutes of the movie, for real. Okay, so at the start of John Wick, John's wife has a chronic illness and dies. So, Jesus, dies. So we watch him grieving and barely holding on. He then receives a gift from his late wife that she had set to be sent to him after her passing. It's a dog and a note. The note tells him that she sent the dog to him to provide him with companionship and purpose. This works, and due to now having the responsibility of something relying on him, he has the strength to keep living and moving forward. I'll stop there not to spoil any more of the movie, but yeah, his love for his wife and the responsibility of taking care of the dog that she gave to him out of love gave him the strength to persevere. I used these two things as muses to write a love song that was about more than just I like you a lot or I think you're hot. I wanted this song to be about love that acts as wind to your sails, which is a very common metaphor that I did not use in this song. Some lyrical things I wanted to break down. Let's go. It was important for me to include Spanish in the song because of the origin of the song's meaning, but I didn't want to make the entire song in Spanish, mostly because I know my pronunciation isn't the best, so I just took the K-pop approach of putting random moments and random lyrics in another language within your song, because why not, and kept it to the ad-libs and outro. Speaking of, the Spanish chorus ad-libs are surgirá, which means emerged, and I, which at a glance sounds like I'm saying I, like me, like the letter I, but I'm not. This means O, which is another commonly said thing in ad-libs, but I thought it would be cool to have that little Easter egg in there for anyone who actually went and checked out the lyrics, or I guess watched this video. The loving you is like new butterfly wings section essentially is just a metaphor, meaning that loving someone can make pushing forward easier in a way that you never knew possible, just like flying for the first time instead of crawling, like a caterpillar versus a butterfly. And it contrasts the use of butterfly in the next song, Red Moon's Cut You Off Like a Butterfly Knife, love that, in a way that I think is pretty cool. Your love fuels me, 10% ethanol. Again, keeping with the theme of how love can help give you strength and push you forward, this line references gas, which, at least in the US, is usually a mix of 10% ethanol and 90% gasoline. Ethanol is also a renewable energy, so I focused on that part of the mixture instead of the straight up gasoline part to give a your love powers me, but in a also renewable way kind of line, which I thought was cool. I'm still climbing mountains, you're a vacay in Nepal. I really like this section. Nepal is home to the Himalayas, the highest mountain range in the world, i.e. many people who vacation, there are mountain climbers. You'll notice that the mix of the vocals sounds different in this line. Higher, thinner even, that's intentional. Nepal's elevation means that the atmosphere in Nepal is thinner than it would be in basically everywhere else on Earth. I wanted this line to sound like I was standing on a mountain in Nepal. Nepal is also right next door to China, which is the homeland of Lao Tzu, one of the inspirations of this song. Speaking of China, I made a Great Wall reference, which on the surface seems kind of cheesy, because it is, in a my love for you is as strong as a wall kind of way, but it ties in with the theme, especially when you think about the fact that the Great Wall was built to protect China from invaders, the Mongols. And in this song, I'm talking about love giving you strength and courage to endure like a protective wall, i.e. the Great Wall. The Love is War section, second half of that verse. Ooh, water break, Batman mug, yeah, you dig? Okay, so the Love is War section is me taking the common phrases of love is war and love is a battlefield and shifting the perspective from being fighting against your partner or against other suitors in the name of your partner's heart, and instead changing it to being a person who normally fights the difficulties of life but can find peace and solace in the love of another, making that person their metaphorical home base, or safe haven, the place where they can let their guard down, hence the line, the side that they, the enemy in this metaphorical life war, never get to see. Springs of love. I thought this was a cute line because springs are when water flows up from an underground source instead of just pooling from rainwater. And this line just reminds me of the idea of emotions uncontrollably bubbling up, but that's usually associated with negative things. But this line flips that to be something positive. In this case, love bubbling up. What does Jubilee mean? Not the YouTube channel. A Jubilee is a celebration of an anniversary. But in this song, I'm using it in the biblical context where the year of Jubilee was the 7th year of the agricultural cycle in Israel, and on Jubilee, slaves would be freed and debts would be forgiven. So essentially in this line, I'm saying this person's love has taken me out of bondage and allowed me to be a whole new person, which also connects with the caterpillar butterfly metaphor in the chorus, because like cocoon, bondage, whole new person, set free, wings. You got it. Okay. In the outro, there's a call and response section which goes, "Cuanto me amas, le das sentido a mi vida," which is obviously Spanish, but for those who don't speak Spanish, or for those who speak Spanish way better than me and had no idea what I was saying, in English it means "how much do you love me?" with the response being "you give meaning to my life." Jeez, I don't know, why can't you read today? Which is a pretty loving phrase in Spanish, and I thought it fit the theme of the song very well. Ideally, the first part would have been said by someone else, or at least someone else's voice, since it's supposed to be conversational between two people, but I don't have the money for all that. Like literally, I did everything in relation to this project myself, because your boy is broke. Also, because I'm a control freak, but whatever. Don't have the money for that, so I just did both sides, lol. If you listen to this song with headphones, stereo speakers, or in a car, you probably notice that the lines are panned to hit the listener from opposite sides. Please, just for the record, listen to all of my music with some type of stereo environment, because I do a lot of panning and directional movement and stuff, which is just completely lost on you if you just listen to it like out of your phone speakers or something. So yeah, just please. Okay, anyway, if you listen to the song with headphones, stereo speakers, or in the car, you'll probably notice that the lines are panned to hit the listener from opposite sides, and this is obviously intentional and with the thought process of giving it a more conversational feel. Nice. Next song, let's get it. Okay, the next song is Red Moon. This is gonna be long. Actually, I feel like I got through that relatively quickly. Hold on, how long was that? Okay, no, it's been 25 minutes. Yeah, okay.